And we are back with Cleve Loveland and Bruce Woodburn, the Loner Ranger, giving you all your real estate news. I've been doing this for 25 years on the air, selling real estate. My family's been doing that for about 40 years in Central Florida. Chances are on your street, one of those rooftops you're looking at, we help sell it or we help buy it or we manage it as investment property. Real quick, I want to get to, I had a list of 12 homes yesterday when I left the office that I was going to advertise on the radio. Well, today I've only got 2. There's 10 under contract. I got a nice condo in Maitland. It's right on the edge of Winter Park, Maitland area in the Moorings. 3-bedroom.
Oh, that's waterfront access too, right? In the Moorings?
No, there's a different condo building for this. This is this is a little more modern section. This is a newer townhome with 20-foot ceilings in the living areas. You got 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths at $419,900. Beautiful little unit with a 1-car garage. Excellent condition with wood floors. And then I've got one in right around the corner from the radio station in Orlando. This is actually a weird piece. It's a weird little, let's say weird, it's a quaint little area. It's actually got 1 and 2 and 5 acre home sites. There's only about 30 homes there. And it's in
that close?
It's in Orlando, right by the radio station. $395,000. It's 2,200 square feet. It's 1 acre. You could have a horse on it. It's got it. This is a cool thing, though. This is what most people will want. 2-car garage on the house. Extra 2-car garage outside for your workshop or your car collection, your equipment. No HOA. The house itself has brand new carpet. It has tile floors in all the living areas. It's 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. It's about 2,200 square feet and just a beautiful property.
And that's on the market for how much?
At $395,000. So that probably by airtime will be on the market this weekend. Give me a call if you'd like to take a look at any of those at 407-352-8118. And that's one of the sellers I was talking about. I started talking about a year ago about what to do. And I probably saved them about $30,000 of what they were going to do.
That's a great buy. You own a construction company or a landscaping company. You got a vehicle. You got your daughter wants an expensive horse, and you don't want to have to board it for $3,000 a month. Then you can have your own place right there.
That's right.
For $395,000.
But I saved them a bunch of money they did not spend and saved for actually they used it to buy an RV and traveling around the country in their retirement. But they got the better RV because I told them they were going to take down walls.
$395,000 RV.
Yeah, and they're not. That's a cheap one, and they're not. They didn't remodel the kitchen. They didn't have to do these certain things that we went over because it will sell in this market. So it's very important. You talk to a realtor, talk to me about getting your home on the market, what you need to do or not, what not to do. 407-352-8118. And I wanted to ask you, Bruce. One thing, I got a chart here of interest rates over the past 5 years from the Orlando Board of Realtors. And it's like they're still lower. I mean,
they're still incredibly low. That has surprised all of us. Mm-hmm. So there's a couple of things that are happening right now that have really kept the market down, and that's because you've got the bond market is still pretty strong. Mm-hmm. Okay, but here's some of the indicators that we're seeing. So the federal government has promised that they're going to pull back on buying mortgage-backed securities because they were buying $10 billion a month. Okay, and then they've scaled that down. So they've now announced, and Powell has committed to pulling back on purchasing mortgage-backed securities. This month they're only buying, I think, $4.9 billion, I think, somewhere around there.
So what's that do to the rates?
So here's what's interesting. Here's what's really interesting, because there's a Fed meeting coming up, and I think it's in like Salt Lake City or someplace like that.
It's Jackson Hole, but
Jackson Hole. Thank you.
They canceled it though. They're going to do it by Zoom.
So they canceled. Listen. So they canceled it. So you already knew about it. So they canceled the Jackson Hole meeting, but we think, so Bank of America, they all say, oh, the Fed's going to pull back on the mortgage-backed securities. Let me tell you what the Loner Ranger says. They're going to cancel that too, because you can't have this whole government debacle with Kabul and Afghanistan and all that, and have that type of hysteria going on. It's creating massive volatility in the market, and I don't think that the Fed is going to pull back as soon as they say they are. I think they're going to keep purchasing because they're going to have to recover right now because of market volatility. Uh-huh. So you could believe the financial experts that have Harvard educations and have finance degrees, or you can believe a 10th grade dropout
there you go.
That tells you that they're not gonna
But
pull
looking
back.
through all that, whether the rate is 2.85, 2.875, or 3.125, people should buy.
But you should buy or you should refinance. Yeah. And here's the thing. Like I just picked up a client. One of you guys listened to my radio show. Nice young lady, very skeptical, went to her own bank, then came to me. And I locked her in on a 15-year loan at 2.25%.
Good Lord.
Now, she has 817 credit scores, 2.25%. Okay.
Awesome.
No cash out, 15-year fix. Do you want that kind of loan? Like, I'm not going to promise everybody out there you're going to get that rate. Yeah. I'm not going to promise it because I don't know what your circumstances are. But that's available. Have another client called me from the radio, went to Wells, was ready to close. Finance terms change at the last minute. Wow.
Oh, God.
Comes to me. I looked at his loan. I said, don't do anything. You shouldn't do anything. Except for, why do you have $200,000 in other debts? I'm consolidating his mortgage and $200,000 in debts. And if he just makes the same payment he's making right now, which is $1,175 for the mortgage, $2,300 for the other debt, which is $3,408. I remember the number.
Yep.
If he makes $3,008 toward his mortgage new payment that I give him right now, he's paid off in 99 months.
Wow.
With no mortgage and no $200,000 in debt. Yeah. Otherwise, I told him to stay with what he has, and his house is paid off in 8.6 years.
Yeah.
But he still has $200,000 in other debt.
Yeah.
Now I got him debt free. Yeah. If you want that type of service, you call the Loan Arranger at 407-250-9144. That's 407-250-9144, or visit my website at webringyouhome.com. That's webringyouhome.com. Super easy, Cleve.
Yep.
Push button, get mortgage. I don't know who came up with that, but I like it, okay? Yeah. Push button. Don't push button and send a rocket off. Push button and actually get your mortgage.
Yep.
Okay?
I got an email on asking about, how far over list price should I expect on my home? And I'm looking at an article here out of Texas on how homes are going. The average home price is in the 600s, 600 to 700. And they're selling, on average, it was over like $80,000 over list price. So that's not Central Florida. Now, in some spots, it might be. What I'm seeing,
but $80,000 would be only on a $1 million+ dollar.
Well,
house.
this was in this market in Texas. This is what
it's in the Woodlands, probably.
Yeah, well, you got to think, what's my market? And you hear these articles, and you always say, when you see an article about something, and it's talking about something, they always want headlines. They want clickbait, or they want to grab your eyeballs. It's always about, okay, was that a national article? Was that a Florida article? Was that a Central Florida article? And then what I do as a realtor is I go into Bruce's home and we look at Bruce's market. What's around you? What houses are like yours? That's what we do as realtors. And no website can tell you that. No website can tell you to declutter your house.
And certainly don't listen to the news.
Yeah, and so they're going to grab what's sensational too. Like I heard somebody talking about how 80% of home sales were virtual last year. That's a crock. Yeah. I just I had virtual buyers coming through some homes. I usually wouldn't take their offers because they didn't know what they were looking at, or literally they had not seen the street, been through the home. And I actually use their offer sometimes to get more from my sellers when I showed it to the other Central Florida buyers going, hey guys, I got another person here with this offer here. I need you to match this. And they would do it.
Right.
So, but that's what's about having a good realtor consult with you on. And, if you price your home way, way above what your neighbors are getting, you're not going to get multiple offers. If you price it right where they're at, depending on your price range, depending on how your house looks, depending on how you've prepped it, then you might get more over list price. Now, how much over list price? My average in Central Florida, all price ranges from $250,000 on up to $2 million. My average over list price has been about 5-6%.
Max.
So yeah, and that's it.
Max. I don't see them. You're not saying they're all coming over that. You're
I'd say
max.
Most of it. Some of them are 101%, some of them are 110%, but on average, I see that right there.
Yeah, I agree with that. So what's something I think is really interesting for folks to understand and listen to right now. So every now and again, I'll get a client that says, hey, Bruce, you pulled my credit to do a mortgage for you, and then I got 100 other mortgage companies calling me right now. Did you sell my information off?
Really?
No, first of all, no, I'm not selling your information off to other mortgage companies. But why does that happen?
The credit bureaus did?
That's exactly what happens. So I want you guys to understand this. This is super important, that the credit bureaus, Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian, believe that your data belongs to them. And if they see you having your credit pulled from anyone, buying a car, they'll sell it to other car dealerships. Getting a mortgage, they'll sell your information to other mortgage companies. That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
And if you like having your data breached like that, then don't opt out. Otherwise, opt out. First of all, you should have your phone on a do not call, and you should have your credit on a do not call on your credit. You can do that as well. Now, there's something else that I found fascinating when I have these conversations. And if I ask you guys that are listening out there right now, what do you think about all of your personal data being sold? And most of you are going to go, I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I don't like it. I think it's an invasion of my personal privacy. But then I say, hey, do you know what your credit is? Yeah, I know what my credit is because I get the Credit Karma and I get this and I get that. And I'm like, so you're doing Credit Karma, but you don't want your data sold. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I don't want my data sold. Well, wait a minute. How much is Credit Karma? Well, it's free. Okay, well, they're spending like $2 zillion a day on advertisements. Where do you think that money comes from? Those companies, and anytime somebody tells you something's for free, they're selling your data. Okay, so when you take a company like Credit Karma, Equifax, TransUnion, Experian, and you do something with them that you think is free, you're giving away your data and you're giving away permission for them to give it away. So don't do that.
The credit card offer you see,
they're going to sell your data.
In your mailbox, yeah.
They're going to sell your data. That's what they do. That's how they make money.
Yep.
407-250-9144. I'm the Lone Ranger, 32 years in the business, same location, 20 years, right here in Winter Park on Fairbanks Avenue. I actually return phone calls. You call me at 407-250-9144. I'll make sure that when you apply for a mortgage, you get the best mortgage ever. It's my guarantee. And my guarantee to help buyers like Cleve's buyers make sure that when they're making an offer, they have a fast-track loan approval, and we can talk about that when we come back from the next break. But if you want to reach Cleve, his number is 407-352-8118, or you can go to cleveloveland.com. Cleve?
Yep. 407-352-8118. And are we done? We got
a couple minutes. Okay. We got a couple minutes left. So we've talked a little bit about the market.
Real quick, rising rates on rents. Rents are going up too. And that's another reason to buy.
It's another reason you should rent.
Well, another reason when you buy a house and then you do our leapfrog program we talk about, leave that one as a rental and move on to your next one.
Right.
But rents are rising too. I was in a neighborhood managing a property. We manage about 80 homes. And I'm checking on something, and all of a sudden I went into another neighborhood. I got a buyer going in there, and I'm looking at the rents, and the rents were like $400 the last time I checked about 2 years ago.
Right.
About $400 higher, almost 20%. So they're going up, and the days of the $1,000 rental are just about gone. The days of the $1,500 3-bedroom, 2-bath apartment are gone.
They're getting tougher and tougher.
So it's really important.
But how many rich renters have you run across?
Not many.
I don't know
I'd say hardly any. No, you need to buy a house. There'll always be tenants. There's always going to be people that will be tenants. They don't want to mess with it. They get rid of one house. They don't want another one. They got divorced. They got a job transfer. They're only here for a couple of years. Whatever it might be, there's always going to be tenants out there. There's a good market for those. And believe it or not, the rental market is tighter than the housing market.
It is.
It is.
And it's a great opportunity. So if let's just say you bought a home 2 years ago and you want to buy an investment property. Your cheapest way is to rent the one you have and buy the new one as a primary. Don't buy the next one as a rental. You could do that, but you're going to have to put down 20%.
The rate's going to be 4 something.
Or if you follow our Leapfrog program that you and I taught a class on last Wednesday, and we had a lot of folks join us on that, we'll show you how to buy with minimum amount down and make the maximum return on your rental property. 407-352-8118. That's Cleve Loveland. Or Bruce Woodburn, the Lone Ranger, at 407-250-9144. 407-250-9144 or webringyouhome.com. When we come back, we'll be back in 5 minutes. We're going to talk a little bit more about what's going on in the market and how we can save you money as a buyer or a seller. We're back in